corrupt politicians. Go through yourself, Joe.
World, we're gonna shit talk this. Russia. We're watching Crowder Mania right now. We just left. Dan, that guy had on the thumbnail. Now we're with Crowder doing their last post.
So she decided to write a they were chanting,
Watching louder with Crowder.
pigs in a blanket, triumph of black bacon. I said, that's a horrible thing. And they were marching down the street. And that was my first glimpse of Black Lives Matter. I thought it was a terrible thing. As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships. Criminal justice reform.
In the room. Biden sitting right there. He said, I'm the most racist person in this room.
They can say anything. I mean, they can say anything. It makes me sad because I am the least racist person. I can't even see the audience because it's so dark. But I don't care who's in the audience. I'm the least racist person in this room. Has in modern history. Wow. He pours fuel on every single racist fire. Every single one. Started off coming down the escalator. Fuck you, fuel. Just Joe Biden. Man, calling someone a racist with no proof. You're the one who said racial jungle. You're the one who had a crime bill. You're the one who supported segregation. You're the one who was only one hot shot seat away from Robert Byrd, who was recruiting for the Klan. You're the one who thinks you're racist.
That's true, too. I know a lot about Robert Byrd. He's not here where I'm from.
Where did that? No. I said not.
Biden thought he said that.
Has anybody done?
Biden thought Trump said that I'm Ronald Reagan.
Not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody put tens of thousands of black men, mostly in jail. All right, you know what?
Not true. Hello, Dr. Randall.
Just take a look at what's happening out there.
Right, everyone, let me give you a chance to respond within this context. I know that you supported in the 80s and 90s, contributed to the incarceration of tens of thousands of young black men who had small amounts of drugs in their possession. Their sons, their brothers, their
That's what destroyed the black
whose families are still to this day.
family. The father
Just speak to those families. Why should they lose freedom?
One of the things is that in the 80s, we passed 100%, all 100 senators voted for it, a bill on drugs and how to deal with drugs. It was a mistake. I've been trying to change the since then, particularly the portion on cocaine. That's why I've been arguing that. Yes, please. Not send anyone to jail for a pure drug offense. They should set up drug courts, which are never funded by our Republican friends. They should not be going to jail for a drug or an alcohol problem. They should be going into treatment. That's what we've been trying to do. That's what I'm going to get done because I think the American people have now seen that in fact it was a mistake to pass those laws related to drugs. But they were not in the crime bill. But why didn't they get it done? See, it's all talk, no action with these politicians. Why didn't they get it done? That's what I'm going to do when I become president. You were vice president a long way ago. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years to get it done. Now you're saying you're going to get it done because you're all talk and no action. We got a lot of it done. We released 38,000 prisoners left from you got nothing done. 38,000 prisoners were released from federal prisons. There were over 1,000 people who were getting clemency. In fact, we're the ones that put in the legislation saying we could look at pattern and practice of police departments and what they were doing, how they were conducting themselves. I could go on, but we began the process. I just asked one question. Why didn't you do it in the 8 years, a short time ago? Why didn't you do it? You just said, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. You put tens of thousands of mostly black young men in prison. Now you're saying you're going to undo that. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years with Obama. Yeah. You know why, Joe? Because your own fault.
All right, Vice President, then we're going to move on to the next section.
Ooh, Joe Biden in Congress.
Oh!
All right.
That hurt me.
We're gonna move on to our next section.
Like I did with criminal justice reform. I had both Democrats in this.
Gentlemen, we're running out of time, so we gotta get on to the
Oh God, is it almost over?
Oh my God, it's killed me.
If the ideas are doing
Trump is absolutely laying the smack down.
and you could say that the Congress said no. That didn't happen.
And that didn't happen.
Joe Biden's dropped. Put your soap on a string, Joe.
Oh, what I want is the cleanest, crystal clear water, the cleanest air. We have the best, lowest number in carbon emissions, which is a big standard that I notice Obama goes with all the time. Not Joe. I haven't heard Joe use the term because I'm not sure he knows what it represents or means. And we have the best carbon emission numbers we've had in 35 years. Under this administration, we are working so well.
Or whatever.
Look at China. Look is. Look at Russia. Look at India. It's filthy. The air is filthy. The Paris Accord, I took this out because we were going to have to spend trillions of dollars, and we were treated very unfairly. When they did us a great disservice. They were going to take away our businesses. I will not sacrifice tens of millions of jobs, thousands and thousands of companies because of the Paris Accord. It was so unfair. China doesn't kick in until 2030. Russia goes back to a low standard, and we kicked in right away. It would have destroyed our business. So, you ready? We have done an incredible job environmentally. We have the cleanest air, the cleanest water, and the best carbon emission standards that we've seen in many, many years.
Damn right.
Vice
We
President,
haven't destroyed our industries.
2 minutes to you on the phone.
Climate change, climate warming, global warming is next to simple we don't have much time. We're going to pass the point of no return in the next 8 to 10 years. And in 4 more years of this span, eliminating all the...
Remember when Costa Cortez said, like 12 years, you won't have a world. Right. And then everyone said, she really believed that. She said, I was not joking. She just said 8 to 10 years. Yeah. He shortened the time frame for AOC. He's fucking crazy on AOC.
People worry about jobs to support my climate plan. Because what it does, it will create millions of new good-paying jobs. We're going to invest in, for example, 50,000 charging stations on our highways so that we can own the electric car market in the future. In the meantime, China is doing it. We're going to be in a position where we're going to take 4 million existing homes and retrofit them so they don't leak as much energy, saving hundreds of millions of barrels of oil in the process and creating significant number of jobs. And by the way, the whole idea of what this is all going to do, it's going to create millions of jobs, and it's going to clean the environment. Our health and our jobs are at stake. That's what's happening. And what right now, by the way, Wall Street firms indicated that my plan will in fact create 18.6 million jobs, 7 million more than it is. This is from Wall Street with us. Not on climate, just on the economy. They came out and said very strongly, $6,500 will be taken away from families under his plan. That his plan is an economic disaster. If you look at what he wants to do, if you look at his environment plan, you know who developed it? AOC plus 3. They know nothing about the climate. I mean, she's got a good line of stuff, but she knows nothing about the climate. And they're all hopping through hoops for AOC plus 3. Doing good. Yeah. A real plan was $100 billion.
Cut off those bitches.
We have the best thing for 100 years. We made it. What he says, they want to take everything down because they want to make bigger windows into smaller windows. As far as they're concerned, if you had no window, it would be a lovely thing. This is the craziest plan that anybody has ever seen.
And this wasn't done by smart people. This wasn't done by people, frankly, I don't even know how to do it. They want to spend $100 trillion. It's good. Real number. He's trying to say it was six. $100 trillion. They want to knock down buildings and build new buildings with little tiny
Joe Biden is diabetes
and many other things.
So let's hear from the Vice President. I have a number more questions.
I don't know where he comes from. I don't know where he comes up with these numbers. Wait, 100 trillion.
Let's go with Greg. Answer the question.
Yeah. In every labor group, labor, because they know the future lies.
We better get that. There's no, that's not true.
Breathe.
That's not true.
Every single labor group, okay?
By the way, the fastest growing industry in America is the electric, solar energy and wind. Fastest growing jobs, and they pay good prevailing wages.
Right.
45, 50 bucks an hour.
By the way, worse for the environment. Take a look at Germany versus France. Also, when you're talking about solar, how do you mine those materials, Joe? How do you store the energy? We don't have the batteries to store a city's infrastructure, as far as the energy infrastructure for a city. Individuals can do it. Everything is spent a lot.
It's extremely expensive. The fumes coming up to make these massive windmills is more than anything that we're talking about with natural gas, which is very good. One other thing. Solar. I love solar, but solar doesn't quite have it yet. It's not powerful yet to really run our big, beautiful factories that we need to compete with the world. So it's all pipe dream.
Incorrect.
You know what we'll do? We're going to have the greatest economy in the world. But if you want to kill the economy, get rid of your oil industry. You want, and what about fracking?
All right,
After this stream, let's come back to it. He said he was going to ban fracking. That's a lie. Christian Welker, unless you're retarded, sweetheart, you know that's a lie. If you're following up with Donald Trump on 2, 3, 4 questions, as far as we went with which pharmaceutical companies specifically are going to give us a vaccine before the election, then you should ask him. Hey, wait on a second, Joe. You did say you would ban fracking. We will show you a clip in our post-game wrap-up after this. It's clear as day. He basically says, I'll ban fracking.
I have one more question in this podcast.
He was against fracking. He said it. I will show that to you tomorrow. I am against fracking. Until he got the nomination, he went to Pennsylvania, then he said, but you know what, Pennsylvania, you'll be against the pipe.
They even broach federal land at any point, which, by the way, is necessary for any fracking work, which is what makes it so clean, energy efficient, and better than bringing in oil on tankers from Saudi Arabia. You dumb shit.
The families that we're talking about are employed heavily, and they're making a lot of money, more money than they've ever made. If you look at somebody lives, I have not the day we saved it. And I think we drug out of the Lord. We got to more about relationship. We got Saudi Arabia, Mecca, we saved our oil industry, and now it's very vibrant. And everybody has very inexpensive gasoline.
Yeah, I'm right. So far down here. All 98 to all the
Chemical plants and oil plants and refineries with blue. I used to live near that when I was growing up in Claremont, Delaware. And all refineries and oil in the Delaware River, there isn't any place, including in Houston. When my mom get in the car, when there was first frost, to drive me to school, oil sucking. That's why so many people in my state were dying. And get me into research back to show what I was running communities.
Rocky Mountain Tiny Cone. So that was 70 years ago. Maybe something more recent.
It's coming out of those fence line communities.
Okay, one final
When
question.
you close down the
By the way, I would transition from the oil industry, yes. Oh, transition. It is a big thing because I would stop.
Why would you do that?
Because
Why would you do that?
I say, here's the deal. But let's get that. Well, if you let me finish the statement, we can have to be replaced by renewable energy over time. And I stopped giving to the oil industry, I stopped giving them federal subsidies. You won't get federal subsidies for gas and fuel to the
Oh, let me thank you. Our next time we get back again, you can shoot ahead and chew it.
We actually do.
All right.
Solar wind.
We have
That's
one
maybe the
final
biggest
question.
statement in terms of business. That's the biggest statement.
Okay.
Because
We have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question.
is he is going to destroy the oil industry. Will you remember that Texas? Will you remember that Pennsylvania?
Vice President Biden.
You're saying you don't want to train on Biden like it's the Warriors into the baseball series.
Zero emissions. The first place to do that by the year 2035 is energy reduction by 2050 total.
All right. One
Is he
final
gonna get
question.
China to do it? Is he going to get China
To our final question.
I'm going to rejoin Paris Accord to make China abide by what they agreed to.
All right. This is
How do you
our
have leverage when you join you in every other country? You couldn't even get people to pay 0.5% in NATO for 8 years. 0.5 in NATO.
1 minute, starting with you.
We have to make a country totally successful as it was prior to the plague coming in from China. Now we're relaying it and we're doing record numbers, 11.4 million jobs in a short period of time, etc. But I will tell you, go back. Before the plague came in, just before, I was getting calls for people that were not normally people that would call me. They wanted to get together. We had the best black unemployment numbers in the history of our country. Hispanic, women, Asian, people with diplomas, with no diplomas,
People with lippers.
one in the class, everybody has the best.
Low J, Boo Bear,
They
Slow.
wanted to get together, they wanted to
Watch
unify.
Trump on them.
Success is going to bring us together. We are on the road to success. I'm cutting taxes, and he wants to raise everybody's taxes, and he wants to put new regulations.
Yay.
He will kill it. If he gets in, you will.
You voting Trump 2020, right? Not, we're over. We're over. Yep, you voting Trump 2020.
Very sad day for this country.
All right. Vice President Biden, same question to you. What will you say during your inaugural address to Americans who did not vote for you?
I will say, I'm an American. I represent all of you, whether you voted for me or against me.
I gave him a dog.
You're represented. I'm going to give you hope. We're going to move. We're going to choose science over fiction. We're going to choose hope over fear. We're going to choose to move forward.
Cubby, off.
Enormous opportunities to make things better. We can grow this economy. We can deal with the systemic racism. At the same time, we can make sure that our economy is being run and moved and motivated by clean energy, creating millions of new jobs. And that's the fact. That's what we're going to do.
His closing speech is about energy. Last question. Yep. Yeah. You can't think of anything that happened before that. Yeah, it's just a general.
Like an Easter egg.
Everyone has to make a change.
It's like I done slept, took a nap, Chris bait.
All right. I want to thank you both for a very robust hour and a
You
half.
better say vote Trump 2020.
President Trump, former Vice President Joe Biden. Thank you to Belmont University for hosting us tonight. And most importantly, thank you to those watching tonight. Election Day is November 3rd.
Trump took him to the woodshed.
Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.
Okay, it's $30 off. We've got a lot of we're about to go to exclusively to the chat and the winner of the costume contest.
Don't tell me that. Tell me Mom.
And we will have a
PayPal that.
the entire election live.
And you get to see me in my marijuana underwear.
Never know. So please do tune in for that.
Got the marijuana
and we'll be taking
briefs on.
I want to. Do we have
Cannabis
a clip from Joe Biden?
briefs.
Can you guys let me? Do we have that? Yeah. Before we do anything else, I want to show you this because this is something where he just lied and was not fact checked at all, and we'll give you our closing thoughts. Let's bring up the Joe. Did Joe Biden ever say, imply, or insinuate that he would ban fracking?
Damn right he did.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
I can tell you the same thing, my Cash App. You go into that Cash App and make a friendly donation, we could get it friendly. I see them $1,500 super chats. We get all freaky up in here. You hear me?
As president, would you be willing to sacrifice some of that growth
even knowing potentially that it could displace thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of blue-collar workers in the interest of transitioning to that greener economy? The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
I hear you.
Well, so
Take my cash app.
A couple of things to note. And this bothers me both about the right and the left. Unless something is blatant and people don't have something to think about, this to me was far worse than Chris Wallace. Far worse than Chris Wallace because of how subversive it was. Because of the one.
Just want a big super chat going.
Follow-ups on Donald Trump.
We'll get naked up in here.
You have to believe one.
You will get naked up in here. I'm bucks.
For Joe Biden, either doesn't know, in which case she's totally going to qualify to be a journalist moderating the debate, or she's lying.
Do I remember you?
There is no in between. You can justifiably say, well,
are you going to try to sue me for child support if I say yes?
We have vaccines coming down the pipeline. We're making a lot of progress. That's not something that you need to necessarily fact check. That's providing people hope. And then you go, when? Before election? When? Which companies? Can you name the companies? Will you give us specifics? Whereas Joe Biden says,
no, yes I do. I ain't never got any child support from you.
And it's one
I haven't got any child support from you, so I guess maybe not.
This was worse because, just like I say, Governor Whitmer is far worse than AOC, far worse than what's the name of the Somalian pirate, Ilhan Omar, where she gets laid. Same ideology. This is my house now. You come to belong to me. This is she's a different color paint. Governor Whitmer with the same policy. You have to give it Chris Wallace. She is just as bad. She's far worse than Chris Wallace. She didn't follow up at all on Joe Biden. Do you honestly believe that she's
Filipino J? You tell me.
Something else that I think is pretty important.
You the student star.
Great statement, and I don't think you realize.
And see your big channel.
Where he talked about.
You live, babe. Yeah, we on here. We got all kinds of shit going on.
Yeah, black unemployment is at record low. Yeah.
I'm bringing on other co-host, Tim Dipple, for Timmy's Cooking Hour. Tammy, she's going to do Saturday night butter churn. Jace Ray's going to do the koala from down under. He's going to run around and chase koalas on the channel. He lives in Australia.
Rather than being dependent on foreign sources, which, by the way, is also why carbon emissions are overall lower.
I'm going to start selling koalas on here.
Here's what's important. Donald Trump managed to accomplish all of those things, but that is the conservative ideology without going out and saying, hey, we're going to subsidize the Lindra. Without going out and saying, hey, we're going to give you more food stamps. Which Joe Biden...
$250 and I'll do the helicopter right now.
Without going out and saying, hey, we're going to give you a free...
$250 if I do the helicopter right now. Shit.
The world's over. Without any of us arriving...
$250 super chat. You get to see the helicopter. I can get about 3 inches off the ground.
Did you say we're going to punish the oil and gas industry? No, he didn't. Did he say we're going to punish white people so that black people have more employment? No, he didn't. Did he say we're going to punish working class Americans so that we can create more tax citizenship? No, he didn't. What he did was...
In my PayPal link.
And that benefited everybody because business owners were able to...
Hell, I don't know. I'm new at this. I'm not sure. And there's things called super chats, and I have a PayPal link set up. That's the only way I can get any contributions to keep the show going.
Just so you know, we might not grow as much. We might not be able to do as many shows because we may not have as much money for production, but I'm not going to be laying anybody off. But I can tell you that there will be a direct impact on this company. Right now, louder and brighter, Joe Biden becomes president and his economic policy becomes law. Take 2 salaries. Audio wave, you can show audio wave. Okay? Audio wave. Or
I hear you.
Or it could be...
Shake my PayPal.
Take 2 full salaries at
That PlayStation 5 ain't cheap. Shake that big booty. Get daddy a big PlayStation. Good idea right there.
Economic policy, and the same can be said for energy. The same can be said for black people. How do you think Elon Musk went to Texas? Does Texas have more pro-green subsidies than
California?
No.
Elon Musk went to Texas to get away from fucking California.
Elon Musk, the man who thinks that this world could be mad.
Okay. That sounds like a game plan, girlfriend.
By every box that you check should be a liberal. Let California.
Share these videos. Share my channel. That's the best favor you could do. Share my channel on your news feed.
The green car, electric car industry. He's leaving that for the Texas oil man.
Yep.
to know. Create an economy that benefits everybody and a rising tide lifts all ships. And Donald Trump, oh my gosh, what a positive message. A message of hope. A message of what America is and what America can be.
I agree, Crowder.
Joe Biden doesn't want to fall back on his record. His record is racial jungle and the 94 crime bill. It's forgetting where he is when he drinks a bucket of salt water or someone turns on the microwave. So we have to make a bunch of empty promises that Christian Walker will never check it. This was a very stark contrast. I think it was a surprising one for Donald Trump. And I said going in that it may be a silver lining. 2 minutes.
Fucking duck ring.
Joe Biden was not able to handle 2 minutes. He does not do well with alone time. He does not do well without a backup band. And as much as Christian Walker was trying to be the backup band, it didn't work. Final thing I will say is there was a recent fight in the UFC, actually, one of the only organizations that is seeing actually a record increase in viewership because it allows people to express their own political views and they don't put a Black Lives Matter in the middle of the octagon. There was a recent fight, Brian Ortega fought in the UFC. He fought against the guy named Korean Rocky. Now, for those who don't watch fighting, just listen and I'll make sure this makes sense to you. Brian Ortega had been out of fighting for, I believe it was a year and a half or 2 weeks. His last fight, he lost a title fight. And he lost pretty badly. And people said, well, you know what, that may be the end. After that fight, Brian Ortega switched camps. He fired a lot of his people. The only person that he kept was Henry Gracie, good friend of the show, from the Gracie family. And the question was, it's been a long layoff. It's the ring rust. How will Brian Ortega come back? Brian Ortega came back, watched the fight from last weekend, and it was possibly the most masterful performance we've ever seen in the 145 division of the UFC because he listened to the feedback, he listened to the criticism, he recalibrated, and he came back as a whole new fighter. Donald Trump tonight was the Brian Ortega of politics. Yeah. This was a new man who came back, he corrected course. It's a repeat of the second debate with Hillary Clinton, and I only wish that we would have a third, but Joe Biden has to get back to his basement. What do you think, the Macho Man?
I definitely think you're right. I think this was a different candidate this time for getting reelected, and he did a great job. He held back when he needed to. He fought really hard. He gave Joe Biden enough rope to hang himself. You and I were talking about whether he would actually make that correction between the debates from like the winner. Donald Trump said,
getting the shit talkers 2.0 group back up and going. I just gotta be careful who I add. No more domestic terrorists.
Joe Biden said, things are horrible. You need me to come in and save you. Donald Trump's like, okay, what's your policy to save? Well, we're going to get rid of your tax line. Okay, we're going to keep the economy closed. Oh, really? So you want to take tax dollars that we don't have to give to people who would do better for people? Donald Trump was talking about how it's paid for by China. Yeah. Well, no, I saw that. It's still a plan. He keeps coming out and saying, we need to give the money. We need to give the money. No, you don't. Listen, open the economy, you idiots. You don't need to give them any more money. You need to open the economy and let the American people do what we do best, and that is go out, be entrepreneurs, and innovate and create jobs. Well, listen, get out of our way. I want to go to Quarterback Eric Audio, Wade Thoughts. We're going to read the costume winner at lidocover.com/mugler, as well as all of your chats after this. But I will say this. You've heard me say this before. What was the message tonight? Listen, if Republicans are the party of the rich, meaning, and I don't know what that means anymore because the rich, meaning big tech, big Hollywood, big Wall Street, big banks, they all endorse Joe Biden. But Republicans certainly are the party of business owners. Republicans are certainly the party of people with more money in their pockets or who want more money in their pockets. Yeah. If Republicans are the party of the business-minded, if Republicans are the party of the upper middle class, which statistically is overwhelming, that's a big list too. If you go ultra-wealthy, the Bill Gates, the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, they don't vote Republican now. But the small business owners, the people who maybe do make $400,000 a year and aren't just holding public office, but have worked their way up and they manage small businesses and maybe they're making $500,000, maybe they're making $1 million. You shouldn't vilify them. You shouldn't hate them. Those people, the people who employ most of you watching, they vote Republican. So, if the Republican Party, Donald Trump is the party of the upper middle class wealthy, their incentive to have a voting base is to keep you wealthy. If Democrats are the party of the uber rich or the poor or blacks on welfare, as Joe Biden said, I'll make sure that more of them are on welfare. Guess what? It's in their best interest to keep you on welfare. Yeah. If the Republican Party, what you heard tonight was a message of independence, look, we have to get the country back open. We have to get back to normal. Teachers back to teaching. We have to get the economy self-sustaining, has a double next to his name in that column. At the end of his presidency, hopefully 8 years, guess what? If Americans are self-sustaining, Joe Biden,
It was like Game of Thrones over the first half. Winter's coming. It's going to be a dark winter. Show us where you messed up the white blockers. Which, by the way, he looks strikingly white. The icy blue eyes and the hair, and not to mention the demonic soul. If the Democrat Party, you can't do it. It's a dark winter, and we're going to continue welfare. Guess what? It is in their best interest to make it a dark winter. It is in their best interest to make sure that you need to stay on welfare. It is as clear as humanly possible that people are listening to what they heard tonight. Oh my God, I'm so grateful that actually people often saying about the polls. Well, you know what? Actually, swing state polls are closer to within the margin of error than at this point with Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. I'm glad to hear that, but I expect after tonight that we're going to see those tighten up quite a bit because people from Scranton are going, well, they can't even say it. I know that asshole because they don't. They've never seen him there. He left when he was in a baby carriage. So I think this was overall just a pretty good debate. I think it moved the needle. It'll be interesting to see how this changes the campaigning moving forward. And I think that this was the most shameful moderating that we've seen. I think this was worse than Sven Guthrie. I think it was worse than Chris Wallace. And right now, we are about to go exclusive to Mug Club. LidoScutter.com/Mug Club. The promo code is Crowder Mania. You get $30 off. Woo. For the next 24 hours, we'll be offering that $30 off on election night. It only comes tonight, and then once every 4 years, that discount. Again, the discount code is Crowder Mania. It's what allows us to continue because apparently we've already been demonetized for this tonight. Of course, naughty language, and also CNN isn't all too happy. So YouTube, thank you, screw you. But right now, we're going exclusive. Yes,
Hello, hello, hello. Is there anybody still left on here? Sorry, doing some shit talkers TV, Facebook. Fuck guys, hate to ban you, but I believe I'm gonna crash in for tonight. Y'all have I believe I'm gonna crash out. Any objections? Anybody wanna start talking shit? It's this shit talkers TV, motherfuckers. We talk shit about anything. This girl's been sitting here talking about shit, how sexy I am. Hopefully she went in there to my Cash App and donated to my PayPal. That way I can buy a new underwear to show off to everyone. Check them out. Got the marijuana leaf. Pineapples. It says dope as fuck right there across the top. It says dope as fuck. So $250 in my PayPal, and you get to see that. Lola J. Alright guys, so calling it up. Peace out, shit talkers. I'll still be in these comments, so if y'all want some, come get some. Yeah, Trump 2020.